Welcome everybody to the TCR Sprint Car Series. We are here for week 3 at the Petit Peachtree Nationals at Lanier National Speedway. I'm Nathan Mon. I'm joined up in the booth by Jake Rowe and Logan Joyner. Jake, how you doing tonight?
Doing well, Nate. Doing well. Happy to be here again. Looking forward to this race here at Lanier. I think it should put on a pretty good show for these drivers
everybody to the
winning
TCR
sprint cars. Logan, man, how you been doing? You looking forward to this thing or what?
Yes, sir. It's my first time broadcasting, but learned a lot from you, Mr. Jake. So we're going to see how this dirt race goes. I know this track likes to slick up pretty quick on the bottom line, so we're going to see how it goes.
Gentlemen, we have seen two great weeks of racing the past few weeks here. Our first race won by Jack Anderson, and then the second race won by Mr. Matt Grimm. Now, Matt was looking pretty quick in both weeks, kind of frustrated after week 1, got it stolen on the white flag, but he made his dues up, we'll call it, on last week with a win. As we're starting to see these guys put down some qualifying laps, watched them a little bit in practice. Who are you guys thinking?
Jake, you might have to take over on this one because I'm not familiar with the drivers just yet, but I'll have to look at the qualifying results here and maybe make my pick.
Yeah, I totally understand. I think for me, I'm really going to want to see to make my pick until we have these heat races, to be able to kind of throw one of my darts at one of these drivers. I just want to see how they adapt to this track because I feel like it changes so quick around here.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I know that we've got different drivers coming in and out every week as their schedules permit. Looks like they're still putting some laps down for qualifying. So as we wait, let's talk about Lanier itself. I mean, I know you guys have a little bit of experience on this track, maybe more so on the asphalt side than the dirt side. But what do you think is going to be the key for these guys tonight to carry a lot of speed and put down good laps?
Yeah, I definitely know that the bottom line prevails here, but it slicks up really quick, and you kind of have to move to that second groove, get that right rear tire on some wet mud. So we'll see who's got the setup that maybe can hold it on the bottom and keep that thing steering on the bottom and maybe make that bottom line work. Maybe if not, they go to the top. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think kind of continuing off what Logan said there, the bottom's definitely going to be the spot to be right off the rip. So I feel like if you're starting first 2 rows in this thing, you're probably going to start pulling away as those guys in the middle of the pack towards the end of the pack start battling. Gain a little time there, but it's just going to be whoever finds that faster lane as that thing's ice is on over on the bottom there, and you will start making your way up maybe towards that wall. We'll see, but this thing should be a pretty darn good show.
Yeah, I was just going to say, do we think this is going to be, past 2 weeks? I mean, there's been no holding back at all, right? I mean, we've got cars sending it 3 wide into 1. Even if it caused them to slam the wall, they don't care. And I personally love it. Do we think anything changes here? Do we think, maybe some people that were in the mid pack that may have screwed their race up halfway through by sending it too hard, maybe back off a little bit, or are we just going to see more full throttle action tonight?
I think it's definitely going to be about throttle control. Just looking off the qualifying right here, I mean, the top 3 are within 0.05 of a second. That's nothing. So definitely going to be tight, but as the track wears out, I think you're going to see this field spread out just a little bit. But I'm excited to see these heat races get started.
And it does look like qualifying is over, and we're going to be lined up for our heats. Davis might need some help on the lineup here for the heat races. But looks like we're going to be lining up for heat 1 right about now.
Everybody that's watching out there, y'all let us know who you're pulling for. Put it in the chat. We want to know who you're rooting for. Say it loud and proud. As Jake was just about to say, the pace car is rolling. We're about to get this heat race underway.
Absolutely. Looks like that 16 car is going to be our leader here for heat number 1. That's going to be Blake Giglio. Honestly, from Rochester, New York, there's a lot of dirt racers that are from upstate New York.
Looks like the lights are off on the pace car. As that signals one more lap under yellow as we're waiting for the pace car to pull off here into pit lane so we can get Heat 1 started.
That is right. These drivers ready to go. I think we're going to see a great show here. We're going to give it back to you, Nathan.
And it looks like pace car is off, and we are green here at Lanier. And instantly contact into one.
No yellow though,
of
so
Lockie
far.
Phillips. We know him to be very, very aggressive on the starts here, Jake. I mean,
That is true. That Eldora race did the same kind of thing. Didn't have any contact in that Eldora race, but we see here, lap 1, turn 1, Lachlan Phillips already with some contact.
Oh, it goes up to the high side, up into the wall almost. Oh, we got contact again. Oh, my goodness, a car down in the inside wall. He's almost in the outside wall again.
In trouble in the one.
Got to imagine there's some anger there from that black and yellow vehicle. Looks like we got the yellow out as there seemed to be a car that had spun off turn 2. I wonder if it was a reaction to when the 48 car there had the contact with Lachlan Phillips.
Yeah, I'm sure the 48 of Logan Hoskins is not going to be too happy about that. Let's rewatch this here, coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, not
Oh,
sure.
we got a self-spin by the 16 of Blake Giglio, our pole sitter for this heat race.
Yeah, just not the heat race he was looking to have. Let's be honest here, right? You started off pole, you expect to be up front, leading these laps here in this heat race, but thankfully still has a few more laps here to try to gain some more positions. That way, his starting position in the finale here tonight, isn't too deep in the field, and maybe we'll see more contact in that thing.
Yeah, definitely could have had some damage there as well from that turn 1 incident, so may have just hindered his line a little bit, as it looks like he's going to pull it into the pits. That might be all we see from Blake here in the heat race, but not sure how many heats we are going to end up having, but he likely will have a good shot in the feature. Just going to have a lot of traffic drive through.
Definitely, and I think at a track like this where the bottom line is where you need to be, it's definitely going to be tough. So feel for him in the 16 car there. Maybe he'll get back up there, hopefully.
Without a doubt. Almost kind of wonder, there it is right there, right?
There it
He
is.
had no front wing when he came in, stopped there, used the fast repair. I was just going to say, obviously, I know we have in the main event, fast repairs for our drivers, but wasn't too sure about it here in these heat races, but that answers that question. We see Blake with a brand new car, going to try, hopefully, get more spots on this restart.
It looks like we might be going green this time by. Not sure where the leaders are at. And looks like we are rolling now as Blake's going to make up some early positions here. Going all the way from 5th up to 3rd as he tries to chase down Lockie Phillips.
Got a battle for first here between the 48 and the 17. My broadcast is lagging a little bit here.
That's all right. Lachlan Phillips keeps trying to throw those sliders here on the 48 of Logan Hoskins, but these two are battling. Look at that. Blake's back up, a little contact there between him and Lachlan again. It's 48 still in the lead, Nate.
Yeah, that's just exactly what the 48 wants to see at Logan Hoskins. He just wants to see Lockie Phillips and Blake Giglio just battle, and he can just continue to pull away. As you see these two just getting ever so close here in the middle of the corner. And Blake's it looks like he's just getting a little frustrated here, just, trying to get back up front, as it looks like he's going to make the high side run work out here.
Yeah, definitely as he gets back into second. Going to try to run that leader down. Not sure if he's going to have enough time, though. Looks like the 48's pretty much got it wrapped up unless something major happens.
It looks like that was the end of our heat race with Logan Hoskins taking the checkered in heat 1. As we grid up here for heat number 2.
Yes, sir. Heat number 2 going to be rolling off real quick here. Just waiting on these guys to load in. Let's digest what we just saw there in heat 1, though. What'd you guys think?
Man, that was just a lot of good racing there. I mean, you saw Blake get wrecked out early, kind of lost control of his car. Made a comeback all the way to 3rd, which is not easy in these cars. Not easy to make up ground like that, and not a lot of laps. And a huge battle there for the lead between Lockie Phillips and Logan Hoskins.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a little bit behind there. I'm not sure what's happening on my end here. Are you guys seeing them just roll off now?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That is correct.
Okay.
Got that 7 car in the lead. The 7A, Jack Anderson from Newton, Iowa.
Looks like we got the 518 of Joseph Grandy in P2. Going to start on the outside here. We'll see what these guys got.
Let's see.
Gonna
His
be wild.
base car is still on, so we got one more probably here to go. I think the lights should turn off this time, as we see the field kind of try to bunch up and back it up a little bit, give the pace car some time, avoid that pesky black flag.
Yeah, the nice thing of doing that too as a leader, it gives you more time to, you get to go when you want to go. So we're going to see here what the 7A Jack Anderson does. He's going to be in control here on the restart.
Looks like we are green as Jack Anderson gets out to a huge jump with that advantage being in the lead.
We got the 26 of Sean Stevens that took away P2. Looks like he's pretty strong. Let's see if he can run down that leader here.
Yeah, 518 kind of had a little hiccup there. Got the 26 around him, but he's trying to battle back on the outside as they head on into 3. Our leader, though, Jack Anderson, starting to pull away just a little bit every single lap that starts to clip off. It'd be interesting to see what this 26 does.
As we see Sean Stevens really try to establish P2 here. It seemed like he was pulling away in the middle of the corner, but I think with the 518 running that just higher line, he's able to carry just a little bit more speed off the corner and get right up to the bumper of the 26 car.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the 26 is having a little trouble getting off the corner. Looks like he's pushing up the track a little bit too much, not having enough bite in that car. But there's only 8 laps in this thing, or about halfway through, so we'll see if we can get there, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to.
Yeah, it looks like we did have one incident here.
Oh my! Wow.
Not sure if see it. I guess bring the yellow out. Must have here.
117 of Joshua Johnson. I just hope Josh is okay there.
Dude, that guy went for a ride right there after that incident.
Yeah, so we are under yellow here, halfway through heat number 2, with Joshua Johnson.
Oh my goodness!
A little bit of contact there, and he's definitely had to tow that one back, and
not going to be happy about that.
He's not going to be happy about that, is right. But he'll throw him, got that fast repair for the heat, so he'll definitely make use of that and see if he can get back out here.
I mean, that B-frame got absolutely rocked.
That it did, Jake. That it did.
All right.
So Jack Anderson leads this thing with about halfway to go here in heat number 2. I see that's the pace car drive back by. Avoid any penalties.
Yeah, gotta imagine he's just going to time his restart, see what he can do. He's got that 26. It's going to be interesting to see what Sean Stevens can do now that he's right on that rear bumper of the 7A, but Jack Anderson gets a heck of a restart. I mean, he's almost got half a straightaway already on these guys. That guy was ready for that green flag.
Yeah, Sean Stevens got sleeping a little bit, as is the rest of the field. And I mean, he's well away now. Pulled away to a nice gap for him, a nice comfortable gap that hopefully he can hold on to for the next few laps here and win this thing.
I tell you what, that 26 looked like he gained a little ground when he ran that high side there, but he went back to the bottom. Not sure. I don't know. I don't think he has anything for the 7A of Mr. Jack Anderson. Looks like he's going to take it home here.
So yeah, it looks like that will be the end of heat number 2 with Jack Anderson in the 7A taking the checkered flag on that one. It was 3 heats, so it looks like we will have one more heat before the feature race. But just taking a minute to talk about what happened in that race. I know that there was an interesting crash for sure, with some contact and flipping through the air, which is never good. But I think, Logan, you kind of onto something there with Sean Stevens trying different lines. I mean, I know we've talked about it in past weeks about these guys trying things out the heat. What do you think that means to these drivers here?
Well, it's still early. As you can see, the bottom line, it still looks pretty wet, but when we get more into the feature, that's definitely going to wear out very quickly. You know, it's maybe trying that out was just something in his back pocket that he's going to, you know, try out later. Saw that it worked and knew he probably couldn't catch him still, so maybe he's going to keep that in his back pocket and show it in the feature.
Without a doubt. It's like what I said at Eldora, Nate. You know, might as well try to learn as much as you can in these heat races. Bring that over into the main, and you never know what that can do for you. Maybe come home with that victory. Looks like we got the 91. Matt Grimm leading this Heat 3 off.
He gets out to a huge jump there on the start. He's going to try to pull away, kind of just like we saw him do last week, right? This is last week's winner, Matt Grimm. You know, he just kind of did his thing, locked in, just ran really solid laps. I mean, even in week 1, when, you know, we saw him get overtaken there with a late restart, I mean, he was pretty much checked out for most of that. As we see one car get into the wall there as they drop back to 4th position, trying to fight here for 3rd. Not quite sure who that is. Looks like the 151 of Trent Curtis tagged the wall there going into 3 last time.
Yeah, I'll be honest, guys. He's the only guy that seems to be running the top like that pretty consistently. And it does seem like he's starting to make some ground there on P2. Interesting to see, although as he does lose the position of 3rd place to the 36. You know, it's going to be interesting, I think, you know, in the main event with more and more laps. Obviously, the track gets worn out even more than these heat races. I think it's going to be interesting to see these guys move around.
And I'll tell you what, I like how the 36 there, I don't have a name for him, but I'm liking how he's arcing in on the corner. He's kind of entering in the mid lane and going off the bottom straight. That's going to help him a lot when that bottom line wears out and it gets really slick. He's going to be able to get the power down a lot better than some of these guys that's entering on the bottom and just throttle controlling all the way through the corner.
Like something we just talked about, right? All information is good information. So, you know, the stuff that we see Trent Curtis doing on the high side, he's got nothing to lose here, right? He's already in 4th, which would be last in this heat. Might as well try something different that the guys in front of you aren't doing. See what you can get out of it. I mean, we did see it was working there for a little bit. So maybe he's found something. It looks like
Matt Grimm going to win Heat 3 here. Dude, absolutely checked out.
Yeah, I mean, he was absolutely gone the entire heat. So I know I asked you guys earlier. Apologize because I now realize that Logan had not had a chance to see some of these guys, you know, whip these sprint cars around. But now you've seen 3 heats. You've seen our 14 drivers for tonight. Jake, I'll go with you first. Who do you think?
Dude, I'll be quite honest with you. I think Matt Grimm absolutely dominated his heat. Coming off that victory last week, he ran well at Eldora. I just like what I just saw there in his heat. I mean, he was on it. He looked flawless. A lot of guys seem to make a little mistake, kind of lose some time. I didn't see that at all in any of those laps there. So I'm going with the 91, Matt Grimm from Lima, Ohio. I like what I saw.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to disagree with Jake, the way that 91 checked out immediately looked really good. The only thing that scares me is if you're fast beginning in dirt racing, that doesn't always mean you're going to be fast at the end. So I'm going to pick the 91 as well, but I'm not sure. We see him ripping the top here in the warm up. Maybe that's his good line there. Who knows? Maybe he's not showing all what he's got. I'd like to ask the producer if maybe we could reload this stream because I am lagging very badly.
While we get that reloaded for us here in the booth, I'll go ahead with my pick, and I picked him week 1. He won the race, so Jack, if I curse you tonight, you know, it is what it is, but I think Jack Anderson's a really fast driver in the series. We saw him work through traffic and everything through week 1 and, you know, make a last lap pass for the win over Matt Grimm. And I think he's somebody that's really consistent throughout the race. You know, at the beginning, he's very smart about when he's making his moves, very meticulous on his setup for the moves. So he's my pick tonight. Again, hopefully I don't jinx him. I wanted to pick him last week, but he wasn't able to make it. But you know, Jack Anderson, really fast guy out of Newton, Iowa.
Not a bad pick at all there, Nate. It's gonna be interesting to see where we all land in these. Always kind of the fun part of getting to make a pick. We don't have to go out there, drive it ourselves, and be stressed out winning it or not. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Here we got, you know, a few more moments here in this warm up, and we'll get these 35 laps underway here at Lanier.
Absolutely, yeah. Looks like these guys are definitely starting to familiarize themselves with different lines here, as the track's definitely worn a little bit from all these 3 heat races, as it continues to wear during the practice here, but just trying to find any speed they can. Seems like for the most part trying to avoid each other while they're figuring it out, but contact does happen, and best part is no cost involved with it, as the reload's only a button away, at least during the practice.
Jake, I know you wanted to give Mr. Trent Curtis in the 151 sprint car a little shout out for sponsorship that we're going to be doing here in a little bit here. In a couple weeks, we're going to be doing the grease car. The TK Diecast Late Model Series, held by Grease Car. So, Jake, go ahead and give your little sponsor plug here.
Yeah, looking forward to that with the Buffalo Transformer Services Hard Charger Award. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys do coming up in that league. But we're going to get back to the show here at Lanier as we're starting to see these drivers grid up for this main event. I mean, this thing, I feel like that race earlier this year at Eldora, we say it's 35 laps, which, could be a lot. I'm thinking we're going to see a lot more yellows in this race right now than that Eldora race.
I definitely agree, especially off the... Sorry to cut you off there, Nathan.
No, you're good.
Especially off of the first heat, we saw a lot of contact in the first couple laps, so I know they're going to be sitting up at the front, so I think maybe some of the aggression comes out maybe later in the race. Who knows, maybe early in the race, but I definitely see some aggression coming out of this from the heat races.
Boys, I hope you're getting as excited as I am to get rolling here for the feature race at Lanier for the Petit Peachtree National. I mean, I agree with you guys. I think there's gonna be some more cautions. There's gonna be lots of chaos. We saw a good amount in the heats with cars flipping through the air. Man, I'm just excited. How about you guys?
I'm ready to go, man. This is gonna be a great show.
I'm virtually sitting in the grandstand right now peeking, so definitely gonna have a good time.
Looks like we are 1 to green here. Pace car will be off next time, I do believe, unless there's any sort of admin that would extend it, just to make sure all these drivers are ready to roll for this feature race. It looks like we got one in the wall, maybe just kind of feeling things out, getting a little heat in the tires. Never hurts. I think that was the 16 of Blake Giglio. So just kind of trying to feel it out before we get rolling here.
Yeah, just a shout out for next week, Tuesday at 8:30. We're going to have the Winston as a non-points race at USA International Speedway. Big track, lots of speed. It's going to be great. We're underway for green now.
We are green now, and we see Logan Hoskins taking an early lead here over Jack Anderson. As they go into 3, it's a big fight here for third, as they're almost 3 wide coming off of 4.
Yes, they were. We're going to see them 3 wide again there for P3 through turns 1 and 2. I got to say, surprised we haven't seen any contact or an accident yet, but this race is shaping up to be a good one. We got a lot of players up front right now.
Our cars all over the track working all kinds of different grooves. We're going to see which groove wears out the most. I think it's going to be the bottom. We got a yellow flag out here. We're going to have our producer here shoot us back to the replay, see what happened.
Let's see. It looks like
the
trying to go
117 of Joshua Johnson tries to send it in the middle here, 3 wide. I'm not sure if the guy on the bottom knew he was there. The car on the top was trying to make the entry of the corner. Said, "Top line is not my line. I'm going to the bottom." So, yeah, just a wild racing incident. Not a lot of patience here, obviously. I think, battling for the last position, got to have a little bit more patience than that this early in the race. But we'll see if he can't get it in the pits and get it fixed, and we'll see what happens after this.
Yeah, he's definitely got that fast spare in hand. Maybe not enough damage to use it yet. Maybe it is. It's really a driver's decision, or maybe he's got a spotter, eyes in the sky. Let him know what the damage looks like and everything to that car. Just really know where to go, really, for any of the 3 drivers. The driver on the bottom got it real loose coming off 4, so him just trying to rejoin, and then the other 2 fighting side by side just didn't work. 3 into 1 didn't work out here, and we are back green. Logan Hoskins going to take turn 1 first. Jack Anderson closely behind him.
Yeah, you see the 26th there. Sean Stevens trying to make that outside line work. Going to get a decent run down the front stretch here in the 1, but it seems to be the bottom is still prevailing for these guys, at least momentarily. You know, it seems to be about a couple lanes off the bottom is the sweet spot. We see the 7 car of Jack Anderson trying to go to the outside of the 48 of Logan Hoskins here in turn 2.
Yeah, and what I like about the 7A of Jack Anderson, you know, I saw a lot of confidence there on that restart. He did not fall back. He was ready to rock and roll. Now we're seeing him go to the outside, see if he can make anything happen. It's going to be tight coming off of turn 2, going back into turn 3. He's still there on the outside. Can he clear him coming off of 4? I'm sorry. Oh.
Looks like just not enough as he continues to work the higher side than Logan Hoskins. Looks like he does have a nose in the front going in the corner, but that bottom side, you know, it's just the shorter way around. So, it looks like maybe Logan got a little loose coming out of 4. That's going to allow Jack Anderson to take the lead.
100%, and he is checking out very quickly.
Yes, he is, but I like what I see here. That's 26 to Sean Stevens. He's absolutely tearing that wall, ripping the high side there up on that cushion. He is making some time. It's going to be interesting to see if the 7A there, Jack Anderson as the leader, sees that behind him and starts moving up, as that 26 is going to become a real player here in this race real quick. Got a caution out, though, boys. Going to restack the field here, man. This thing, another chapter of this race. Looking forward to see what this restart has to offer for us, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like we're going to have just over about 23, 24 to go. So plenty of time for these guys to, you know, make up some spots, especially with the cautions coming out.
Looks like we had a car that just got some contact here. Spun around on the front stretch.
Well, looks like the 518 of Joseph Grandy again involved in contact, not having the night he wanted, having all sorts of contact. He might need to come down pit road and get some of that damage repaired because, yeah, he got hit pretty hard. The sprint cars are very sensitive, you know, with the wings and all the suspension being open wheel. That can definitely go downhill very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's just honestly a race gone bad to worse. You know, you're just trying to kind of regain, you know, you're getting caught up by the leaders, maybe had some prior damage from, you know, maybe just hitting the wall or another incident or something, and that's a bad way to end up back in the pits for your, you know, possibly your night to be over.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's got to be using that fast repair, give himself another life, if you will, in this race. Pace car lights are off. We're going to see the 7A, Jack Anderson, bringing this field to the green. He starts ripping it halfway turns 3 and 4 as he goes down into 1. He's going to have that 48 there. Logan Hoskins in P2, but here comes that 26 on the outside of turn 2. Sean Stevens from Australia to try to keep ripping the wall here and get himself up front.
Yeah, and we know there's a lot of dirt drivers out of that area that are very, very talented. We got 20 and a couple handfuls of laps to go here. Oh, he drops down. He doesn't rip the wall this time. There's going to be 3 wide coming out of 4. That 26 takes over P2. He's got his sights on the leader, Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're almost 4 wide, right into 1. I mean, absolutely insane stuff here. As it looks like Sean has found some comfortability up there on the high side, and you know he's definitely making it work. Looks like Logan Hoskins is really starting to struggle here on the bottom as he's sacrificing a lot of speed on the entry and not able to make it back up on the exit. As he's going to drop back to 4th here, as Sean's still able to keep P2 with runs off the corner. You know, he's being chased down a little bit. It looks like may have gotten in the wall a little bit there. That might cost him, but, you know, and last week's winner, Matt Grimm, is just right there waiting for a mistake.
That he is, but I tell you what, 7A Jack Anderson is out front right now with the laps winding down. Matt Grimm trying that inside there. In 4th place, Blake Giglio is trying to make a recovery from that horrible heat 1 he had, but he's on the outside of Matt Grimm for P3. He wants more. He wants to get up there and see if he can chase down that 7A, Jack Anderson.
As we see the leader starting to walk away a little bit, I'm not sure if this 26 has anything until that bottom line wears out. Is that going to be enough laps? Is 35 going to be enough for that bottom lane to wear out in that 26? Start to prevail as we see 3rd and 4th.
Oh, we got a call. Stop outside.
Oh, my Lord.
The yellow is out, and that is honestly the last thing that Jack Anderson wants to see. I mean, we're just over halfway here in the feature, and I mean he was well out to one and a half, maybe even a bigger gap there out in front, letting Sean Stevens and Blake Giglio and all these guys just fight it out as he continues to say, "See you guys, I'm gonna go win this thing."
Yeah. The question is, though, is he getting those tires too hot out there in the lead? I know he's cooling them off right now, but is he getting too much tire wear? Is he spinning the tires too much through the corner? Oh, my Lord.
Oh, my.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's a
no.
rough hit into the outside wall. Man,
Hard hit for
on that
Landon
one.
Miniga. I think I pronounced that correctly. Miniga. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. Took a
Yeah,
wild
he's definitely
ride
gonna
there.
have to. Landon's definitely gonna have to tow out of this one, and get his pit crew to throw another wing on this thing. As he's gonna definitely have to burn a fast spare on that. As these cars do not drive well without the force that the wing provides. Oh, and it looks like some of our leaders up there almost got entangled in that after the wreck.
Yeah, thank God he was holding his brakes because, that can wind up being a very bad situation very quickly. I've been in that position before in iRacing. You'd be leading the race, and then all of a sudden, somebody wrecks and doesn't hold their brakes, rolls down the track, and hits you. So glad he was, being precautious under caution. A 7A, though, I'm really worried about his tires. He's jumping out really far on these restarts. I'm just wondering if maybe the 26 or maybe third place car, who 16
It's
is
Blake Giglio, yeah.
Yeah, the 16 of Blake Giglio. I'm wondering if maybe he's got something for the leader. As we go back green here.
Looks like Jack Anderson's going to pull out again to his lead as there's contact for second between Locky.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, and they got a
Big
car on
wreck
the
on
wall.
the back stretch. Big wreck on the back stretch.
Sean
Caution
Stevens
back out on the speedway.
Yeah, Sean Stevens and Blake Giglio just got caught up there, and Sean got a bad part of it, but Lockie Phillips got the worst of it here, as he's just trying to mind his own business here in P5 and just get out to a nice start. As there's contact in the middle of the corner, contact on the exit, which unfortunately for Lockie Phillips and Sean Stevens right up in front of him.
It looks like Blake Giglio just got into turn one a little bit too hard, got a little bit out of shape there. Coming off the backstretch, the car is still out of whack, and after that, it's no good. But we'll see if that 26 is not too hurt. Hopefully, he's not.
Yeah, it looked like he was pulling down pit lane there, getting a fast repair. These guys were side by side right at the start-finish line on this restart as they went into one, and I mean they definitely were battling for the same spot on the track, and it's unfortunate what it led to for a handful of these drivers. A lot of them are fast. Obviously, the 26, Lachlan Phillips, been up front all day. They got to go get a fast repair, try to make their way through this field very quickly. Got a couple new players up front now. We got that 16 of Blake Giglio there in P2. Matt Grimm, who's been running top 5 all night long, running P3. And the 48, Logan Hoskins was committed to the bottom early on in this race, but he's still holding up strong in this race running P4.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Logan Hoskins, you got to think this is your second chance, right? I mean, you kind of got trapped on the bottom there. When you had the lead, right after losing to Jack Anderson, you had the lead, or, after you lost it, you just got trapped down there, and all your momentum was killed, right? So now's your second chance here. We're just over halfway in this race. I think pace car should be coming in this time by, as we see that the pace car turned down pit road, and Jack Anderson is going to lead us to green here very shortly, and away he goes into one. Not the best jump we've seen Jack Anderson get, but he is going to pull away from the field behind him.
As I see that 7A of Jack Anderson start working the middle a little bit. I'm wondering if that bottom line's starting to wear out, and he's starting to realize it a little bit as he's working that middle lane pretty damn hard now. The 16, though, he's washing up on the outside, almost into the wall, coming off the turn 4. Oh, he does make contact with the wall down the front stretch. Is that 91 going to make the position swap on that?
We will find out, but we're back on yellow here at Lanier. Looks like going to have a wreck towards the back of the pack here. Interested to see what happened. I wonder if it was any of those guys that had just been caught up in that wreck. Had to use a fast repair, get themselves back through this field. Looks like the 81's going to have Sean Stevens to his inside as they go into turn 1. I want to say it might have been Lachlan Phillips was ripping the outside wall, and those two kind of just, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's bad news for both Sean Stevens. Well, all three involved, really, but especially for Sean Stevens and Lockie Phillips. They kind of got themselves in an incident, especially Lockie Phillips, that really didn't deserve to be in, just kind of happened right in front of them, nowhere to go kind of thing. As looks like the 81 Matt Vidifer was the one involved there in the wreck that kind of temporarily jumped up in the air. I know Lockie Phillips did as well. But yeah, not what you want to see when you've just taken your one and only fast repair of the race, and now you're going to be fighting damage the rest of the laps here with 12 to go.
As we've talked a lot about before, boys, there's a lot of ups and downs in racing, and sometimes there's things that you can't control. You're just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You get caught up in a wreck, and a lot of the times that happens in the back, but sometimes you just can't help it, and it's very frustrating, but he'll come back next week, I'm sure, with big smiles and ready to rock and roll again, as I'm sure he'll be strong next week.
Absolutely. We've seen both Lockie Phillips and Sean Stevens be very strong throughout the past few races, very aggressive drivers, but that you got to be in these cars. You don't have a choice. Momentum and position is everything. Very difficult to pass, as I think we are going green this time, as we should see the pace car turn down pit lane, and Jack Anderson launches away from the outside, as it looks like Blake Giglio tried to put his nose just a little inside of him, maybe to spook him a little bit.
Yeah, I noticed he did that a little bit last time. You better be careful with that. You get a little bit too far ahead of the leader, and you might get black flag, and that can end your race very quickly. I think a second place finish is a little bit better than dead last, so I think he needs to be really careful with that. As we see him going into turn 3, looks like he's working over the leader right now, pushing up a little bit out of 4. The leader working the middle lane.
Yeah, wonder right now if this is where that middle lane's starting to wear out. Oh, we had a car use the exit ramp there.
Yeah, we had a car leave the track.
Carnage.
Still wrecking here. That's another incident there with Lockie Phillips. Don't know if he was trying to check up for the.
Yeah, it looked like everybody's on the brakes, and I think he wasn't ready to get on the brakes just yet.
Yeah, checked up just a hair too late, which didn't hit the car in front of him, but I think surprised the car behind him, and got into him, and then there was a little bit more beating and banging as they tried to miss all the damage, as I think one more car was involved in that.
Yeah, not too sure, but it's going to be another interesting restart. I think that's the most pressure we've seen on Jack Anderson here in the main event. Can be interesting to see Blake try something different, try to get side by side with him maybe on this restart. So we are closing in on the checker flag here at Lanier.
Right. Yes, we are, and it looks like there's going to be about 7 or 8 laps to go. These yellows continue to happen. I think the 7A might have it locked up as long as he doesn't mess up on a restart, which I don't think he will, as good as he's been getting restarts the whole race. But, if this thing goes green, I think the 16 might have a little something for him.
Yeah, we've definitely seen the restarts get closer and closer as the yellows come out through the race, and looks like we're going to be going green this time, as Jack Anderson goes a lot earlier than he has been, and that's going to allow him to open up a decent gap here as they head into 1, and kind of caught Blake sleeping just a little bit, as Blake and Matt Grimm are now fighting side by side here coming out of 4, as Matt Grimm is hungry for that second win of the season.
Yes, he is. Matt Grimm's going to try to make a clean pass here under the 16. But I think time's running out to run down that 7A, boys.
Yeah, all this fighting is just allowing Jack Anderson more comfortability and just able to pull away, as he can kind of take whichever line he wants as long as they keep fighting behind him, losing time as they're fighting.
Like they got a car spinning. Is the yellow going to be back out here? Yellow is back out. The number 91 of Matt Grimm is going to be taking over position 2. And I got to tell you, I like that paint scheme. It's very simple. Nothing crazy going on with it. Just a simple car out here on this old dirt track. I'd like to see a little battle for the lead here at the end.
Yeah, the neon green touches on it are chef's kiss, right? It's simple, sleek, and most importantly, it's fast. Looks like the 04.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
04 of Mason Heimball. We saw him last week battling up there for the lead, right? I mean, it's just a tough break for him. He's trying to avoid contact.
A 117 to Joshua Johnson just full sends it in there. Doesn't know that there's going to be a car a little bit too sideways and slow on the track. Not his fault. But like I said before, just caught up in the carnage in the back. So we're going to see
Mason was trying to check up a little bit for a car a little bit higher and slower. But as you said, Joshua just not quite able to have that vision there to see it.
Here we go, back on the green. Jack Anderson going to lead him to the green again. Can Matt Grimm do anything to take this lead away from the 7?
Jack Anderson with... Oh, go ahead.
I just don't think the 91's going to have quite enough time, especially if we have another yellow. We're only going to have about 5 or 6 to go here. He's working the high side, trying to find anything that he can to make a little speed. Oh, as we see the 26 making a pass for third around the 48 coming off of turn 4. He passes him. He clears him.
And what a recovery for Sean Stevens here. I mean, gets involved in a little incident there with Blake Giglio, and, man, he has really driven back through the field pretty quick. I mean, the cautions and people wrecking out help, but it looks like
the yellow's back out again.
Back out with only, I believe, 3 or 4 to go here. Time's definitely running out for Matt Grimm. He's definitely going to have to time this restart absolutely perfectly, as we see 2 cars getting together going into 3. I think it was just It
was the 81 and Lockley Phillips again, boys. Another one between these two. These two are like magnets this race. You know, I can't imagine there's anything between them causing this, but sometimes that's just how it works out. And these two have found one another again. And definitely going to be the end of the night for both of these cars. I got to imagine they've got extensive damage on them. What you think, Logan?
Yeah, definitely Matt in the 81. I just don't think he had enough real estate there, and he thought he did. It's easy to do in a dirt car, especially a sprint car, a wing sprint car. For that matter, it's definitely easy to think you have enough real estate, and the car just slides up just a little bit more than you think it's going to. As we see, the lights are back off on the pace car. Does the 91 or the 26 have anything for the 7A of Jack Anderson? We're going to find out here as we roll into turn 3. We're going to fire off of turn 4 very hard. We're going to get these last couple laps underway. Nathan, you lead it off.
And 2 to go here as they take off out of 4. Jack Anderson first to the line. And Matt Grimm and Sean Stevens going to start ripping the high side, just pick up any momentum they can on this restart here. Just try to get as close as they can. It looks like, Jack Anderson jumped out to another big lead here. White flag is out for the 7A. One more time around is all that separates him, or all that separates him between his second win, as he is coming off of turn 4. Jack Anderson in the 7A out of Newton, Iowa will win this race. Wow.
Yeah, in second, we got the 91 of Matt Grimm. In the 26 and P3 of Sean Stevens. What a comeback for the 26.
It really was. What a drive by the 26 of Sean Stevens. A lot of credit there. To be involved in a wreck, have to go down pit lane, use a fast repair, battle his way back up to third. Heck of a drive. All 3 of these guys. What a show tonight up front, honestly.
Absolutely. And another one to point out, I know he lost a lot of ground early in this race after leading a good amount of laps. Logan Hoskins did rebound back to 4th. So after he made it back up there, he was able to maintain that position. Well, boys, what a race. What do you say we talk to some drivers here?
I would like to know a lot. Now let's do that.
Let's see if we can get anybody here in the chat. So we've got...
Yep.
Let's see.
Wait for a couple of these guys to get on out of their vehicles here, if you will. We'll start pulling these drivers up.
Yep. So we will start first with Sean Stevens in P3. Let's see if I can pull him up here. Sean, this is Nathan and the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
What are you doing, mate? How are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Man, what a drive we saw from you tonight. We saw the contact with Blake there about halfway through the race. And we saw you were involved in another wreck later on. So, as you were starting from the, towards the back of the field with really not a lot of laps to go, what was your mindset? How did you kind of keep your cool and composure and get back up to P3?
Yeah, no, it was certainly a tough one. I was sitting there pretty in second, and then as you said, me and Blake got together, and it sort of locked us together. Like I couldn't turn off his car. Like it was sort of glitched together for some reason, and we sort of went round 1 and 2 together, holding on to each other. But we got off each other. I don't blame him for that. It was just hard racing, I think, at the end of the day, and she was certainly slick out there tonight. So you just had to be pretty much easy on the throttle. I think that's all it come down to, is just being easy on the throttle. And I couldn't really do that down low. So I sort of felt like the top was more in than the bottom, to be honest. But, the leader done well to keep in front by hitting that middle to the bottom line. I just felt I could keep my momentum going if I ripped around the top. So that come back from, the tail. I just sort of sat it on top and, just planted it around the top. And, you just got to be smooth, time your turn-ins right, and the rest just sort of comes. And, I was happy I got back up into the top 3, to be honest. I wasn't expecting that.
Jake?
Yeah, like we said, obviously there, to battle back through the field after getting involved in that incident, were you ever worried at any point that you wouldn't be able to get back up front, where you were running all night before getting involved in that wreck?
I'm just sort of glad that the late cautions came out, to be honest, because I think that just made me being able to just regroup it sort of thing and just try and get a good start off the restarts and try and just get that momentum built up going into turn 1 and burn around the high side. I knew the guys in front weren't really doing that, so I thought I'd try something different. And I had belief in myself that I could get back up there, but you just never know in these races. Racing's racing, and there's a lot of good competitors in these sprint cars on this platform. And credit to the top 2. Awesome race.
Sean, first off, I'd like to say heck of a drive from you in that 26 sprint car. I know you said that you liked all the cautions that were coming out, but do you think at the end when you got there in about P2, P3 area, do you think if the race would have went green for a few laps, do you think you had anything for the leader?
No, I think the other 2 podium finishers, they're good racers. They know what's going on, and Matt there shut the door on me towards the end of the race on me making a pass. I sort of tried to build my momentum up with that last caution going around the top, and then try and get up underneath of him with a bit of push and a bit of drive. But Matt certainly shut the door on me there. So they're skillful drivers all round. As I said, like they know what they're doing. So it's good to have a league like this that's got some top contenders and top races in it, and gives everyone a good race. And certainly the tail ender guys, you learn off these guys that are fast, and you watch their lines, and you practice and practice, and it does come to you. So I have no doubt that these guys are all fast in their own way. But I'm happy.
Sean, as we've all said, go on.
Nah, you're right. Go.
I was gonna say, Sean, as we've all said, great race for me tonight. Definitely a heck of a rebound to be back up here on the podium. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for any sponsors? Anyone you'd like to shout out here for your performance tonight?
Oh yeah, just my team, Wyobi, and all the guys that are on it and support us and everything. All the sponsors on the car. Can't thank the guys that get around us enough. You guys for putting on the broadcast, and
Well, Sean, excellent drive. Hope to see you back up here next week. If you looked fast in the past, so no doubt in my mind we'll be talking to you again very soon. But I hope you have a great night, and we will talk to you soon, man.
Cheers, guys. You too.
All right, so that is Sean Stevens, 26 car. He is our 3rd place finisher. Let's go ahead and bring up 2nd place finisher, the 91 of Matt Grimm. Matt, this is Nathan and the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Matt, so I know you hung around in basically, I think, the top 5 most of the night here. Looked super fast all night. What was the key to making up these positions to start to have a chance to run down Jack Anderson? As I know you were in second for about the last. I know there was a lot of cautions, but you were in second for about the last 15 or so laps. Talk me through some of the passes you set up. We just heard from Sean about how loose the track was and everything. So tell me about how you're setting everything up and how you're keeping your cool and making all these passes.
Yeah, when I asked to reset the track or not, I wanted a fresher track, but I think if we would have reset the track, then it would have just never gotten worked in. And as you can see, the bottom stuck around the whole time, which is kind of weird. I kind of thought it would move to the top. So I was the beginning of the race, I was kind of just trying to save tire and wait for some lines to open up because the bottom was just so dominant because you just couldn't really carry momentum around the top and build enough speed to make it beat the bottom. So you kind of just had to wait, and I let Blake get by me, and Sean was by me, and just kind of had to be patient, which kind of not my thing, but luckily I held it together tonight.
Jake?
Yeah, obviously saw a heck of a drive there. You were my pick to win it after the heat race. For a lot of the viewers that don't understand, obviously, what you're saying about why state of the track, what happened, obviously we saw Sean Stevens there in the 26 ripping the high side, just kind of curious, it worked for him for a little bit. Were you just committed to following the leader, trying to gain any time there, or were you gonna, obviously it was just kind of blew my mind as well. Obviously that it didn't really ice over on the bottom like you were saying.
Yeah, the bottom seemed to really rubber in and just kind of becomes dominant because it's so low around here. The top gets wide and thin, so you kind of have to really lift and take your time to make it work. As you can see, I hit the wall there at the end trying to make something happen. But yeah, I started to play with the top with probably like 10 to go when Blake was still in front of me, and that's kind of how I got around him. Was I got a good run off the top and set up the pass on the bottom, and I don't know. I don't think 3 and 4 was. I don't think there was enough up there to really make it work at the end. So I was kind of stuck with 1 and 2 because there was still that patch of good dirt right through the high middle that you could catch and get a good run off the straight. Get a good run off the corner and down the straightaway to try and get your speed built up. But that was pretty much the only option I had.
Yeah, Matt, you kind of answered half my question there. By the way, I shouted out your paint scheme in the middle of the race. I really like your paint scheme. It's nice and simple. I like that. It looks old school. But if the green flag would have stayed out there in the last 10 laps or so, I asked Sean this as well. Do you think you would have had anything for the leader if you could have found maybe something on the bottom? Because you said the bottom wasn't glazed over like you thought it was going to be. He was running the middle lane a lot on those restarts. Do you think you would have had anything for the leader if the green flag would have stayed out?
If the green would have stayed out, I think I would have got him on the top because I could still. That's when I was making it work. Was about when them cautions started, and then we got caution after caution. So I think right when I found the top, I needed it to kind of everyone to calm down and stay green there, and I think I could have got a good enough of a run to make something happen. But he was definitely fast down there, and he was hard to beat on this track.
Well, Matt, you 3 races in, you've podiumed all 3, including a win. Anybody you'd like to shout out, for any sponsors or anybody you'd like to shout out for your performance tonight?
I'll just thank Trent for everything he does for the league to get a bunch of good guys out here. We're getting a lot of really big name guys coming and running this every week now, and it's good to see. And just thanks you guys for the broadcasts and stuff and picking me. And sorry to disappoint you, but I gave it a whirl.
Man.
Absolutely. Well, again, a great performance. 3 weeks in a row, 3 podiums. I mean, absolutely excellent consistency out of you, Matt. We hope you have a great night, and we hope to see you back up here soon, man.
Thank you, guys, and congrats to Jack.
All right, so that is our P2 finisher, Matt Grimm. Boys, it's time to bring up the winner, Mr. Jack Anderson. Let's pull him in here. Jack, this is Nathan, the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Yep.
Jack, man,
Hello.
you were my pick yet again tonight. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I'm 2 for 2, and I picked you. So, don't let me down. But you've just looked super fast all night. I knew that even though you didn't start out in the lead, you showed me in the first week that you were able to work through the traffic. You were able to, get away from these guys on restarts and kind of just check out and do your own thing, man. Talk to me. We did notice that you were running more of the bottom/middle. I know Matt and Sean and some of the other guys, chasing you down, running the high side. It did look like there for a little bit they were going to be able to make up some ground on you and maybe go for a pass. Talk to me about your kind of commitment to the bottom and what made you stick to it.
Starting out, it was super slicked off, and that's how I love. That's how I love my tracks. I love them super duper slick. Hate whenever it's heavy, but me and Logan were on the front row. He did a great job tonight getting his stuff dialed in. Did a great job with his heat. Kind of caught some stuff at the right times where he could start good, and I also had a really good heat where I could start good. But I noticed when we first started out, right before there's the apron of the racetrack to where the banking is, there was a little line of black slick where it was going to be halfway decent. So starting out, I started rolling right through the middle, and then about 10 laps in, I got by Logan, and then it was more close the last 15 laps. It really started to get black and super duper dark. I started to lay rubber right around the bottom, and I knew that some of these guys maybe been able to get close, but I just don't know how they were going to be able to get past me if I was right around the bottom, right through the rubber. And the track was just getting really, really hard to pass there at the end. And I knew if I stayed in the rubber, it was going to be really, really hard for them to get by me. But I did use up my tires quite a bit there at the end because Matt Grimm had my number if it stayed green, I bet, because he was starting to reel me in there at the end. But yeah, but good run to everyone else. That was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Heck of a show you put on here at Lanier for everybody that was watching, for all of us in the booth. Gotta ask, obviously, like you just said, I'm probably going to know the answer to this. You mentioned kind of using up your tires. Were you getting nervous with how many yellows started falling there, especially at the end of the race where it just seemed like it was just going to be a shootout towards the end, waiting for that next yellow? I mean, what was going through your mind there as we were getting, towards the end of this race?
I mean, with Blake on his restarts, he kept kind of cutting under me, so it was kind of hard to get a good start because he was usually right on my bumper. But near the end, whenever my tires were starting to go away, and I feel like it was going to start favoring Matt and Sean that were right behind me to have a longer run because they had their tires weren't as used up as mine. But yeah, there at the end, I was actually kind of happy with those last 2 cautions because I knew that they were going to they were a lot faster than me there at the end because my tires were going away and I was starting to overdrive it a little bit. I was starting to panic a little bit, to be honest. But yeah, I just tried to keep my cool the best, and we pulled it off. I mean, I think those cautions really did help though there at the end to keep my confidence up because I knew I had really, really good restarts the whole night.
Well, congrats again, Jack. I would like to ask you, how confident were you at the beginning of the night, knowing that the bottom lane was going to slick up a lot? I know you say you like slick tracks, but with all those cautions, how nervous do you get? Because I know a lot of these viewers that don't race on iRacing don't know how nerve-wracking it can be when yellows come out constantly, and if you slip up one time on a restart, that can be your whole race. So how confident were you going into the race, knowing that you had a fast car?
I felt pretty confident because I used to race here all the time, but before I got pretty decent at the game, whenever I was a lot like whenever the first sprint cars first came out, this was one of the only tracks that you'd usually see up for hosted and all that. I've been running this place for a long time, as well as a lot of my teammates. I mean, they tested with me a little bit before this, and we did not see it going to the bottom though. We did not expect that. We thought it was going to be right around the top, through the middle, like a weird slider line maybe, and then during hot laps we just kept running in, and we're like, man, starting to get slick, and just top never really came in my opinion. I just felt like I could never really make a lot of speed up there, so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to stay down here for the rest of the night and maybe move a half car length up off the bottom, or maybe a weird diamond line, and that's about it. I'm not going to get far up there by the wall, because usually in officials and you see other leagues whenever it's not fixed. So I think part of it was the settings, which I'm not complaining. I love whenever it's on the bottom. I feel like that's when I'm at my best. But yeah, it's usually right around the top around this joint, but tonight it was right around the bottom, and I'm not complaining because I love this place whenever it's right around the bottom.
Well, right before Nathan takes you away, I'd like to give you a little winter sound bit.
Jack, as we've all said, congratulations on your second win here in the TCR Sprint Car Series. Anybody you'd like to shout out for your performance tonight?
Yeah, I would love to thank M9 Performance, even though this is a fixed series. They've taught me a lot about driving in general with Timmy, Kenny Miller, Tyler Shell, your defending Pro Series champ, Blake, yeah, he was running tonight. Rest in peace, Sean Timmerman. He was a great help in me getting me into the Pro Series 2 years ago. Rest in peace for Sean. M9 Performance, like I said, $5 wrap guy, Logan Hoskins, he does a great job with all our team wraps. All the rest of the guys on the team, Lando, John, Logan, Mason, all those guys, they're very, very dedicated to the league stuff that we run. And they're all learning really fast and getting a lot better as we go on here. Then some of the other leagues we run, they've just been improving and improving and improving, and I'm seeing nothing but good stuff out of those guys here in the last couple races we've ran. So we kind of struggled tonight, I feel like, just because it's a track that we don't run that much. It's not a track that we run that much anymore. We used to run it a lot, but times have changed. But hopefully Trent can bump this race back an hour so I can start making more races, because I'm sucked I didn't make Volusia last week because I love Volusia. So hopefully Trent will bump it back to 8 o'clock for me so I can start making it more. So hopefully you guys see me next week. It depends on what time he starts. If it starts at a normal time, I probably won't make it, but if he bumps it back an hour, you'll definitely see me at the Winston.
Absolutely, Jack. Again, congrats on the win. We definitely hope to see you back soon. I know you'll be back up here talking to us soon. You've got a lot of speed. You've shown it the 2 weeks you've been here. So we definitely look forward to talking with you again, man.
Yep, thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. As we close out the broadcast here, Jake, I'll turn it over to you, and then I'll turn it over to Logan. Just any final thoughts here from this excellent racing we've seen here at Lanier?
Yeah, it was a great show tonight, honestly. I think what blows my mind the most, obviously Jack was saying his tires were starting to burn up. We heard it obviously from Sean and Blake there. Honestly, kind of just surprised that the line that Jack kept running, was working for him out the entire race. Would have been interesting if it would have been a little bit longer of a race. Would that have changed much? But I think that's my biggest takeaway.
Yeah, definitely. I would have definitely liked to seen a little bit more racing there at the end. Not so many yellows, but that's what you have with any sort of racing, especially dirt racing. Things can go south very quickly. But all in all, a very good show tonight, and I'm looking forward to next week at USA International. Like I said, it's a half-mile dirt track, a lot of speed there, a lot of different grooves you can run, a lot of different lines that you can make speed out of. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Oh. 3/4. I'm sorry. I thought it was half.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us tonight on Grease Vision. Again, if you like what you saw, be sure to see us next week as we host the Winston, a non-points race at USA International Speedway. If you really liked what you saw, please put something in the chat. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to turn on that notification bell as well so you know when we go live next time. My name's Nathan Mon, Jake Roell, and Logan Joyner. We are signing off, and we will see you next time.